All right, we are back here at 5:33 on a Pond Photo Review at UFR WMSC on Twitter. We're still looking for someone to tweet in with the hashtag Beachball, but joining us on the phone we have InsideTheStar.com staff writer RJ Ochoa. RJ, what's happening?
Not a lot, Sean. How you doing?
Doing good here in studio with Sean McChesney.
Hey,
So
RJ, how you doing?
we got 3 Cowboys fans here in
Good,
studio.
man.
The
Good to hear from
Cowboys takeover on WMSC.
But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. You got Dallas Giants. It's always a big rivalry game, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be a lot of fun.
It's always a very close game when the Cowboys travel to MetLife. So, RJ, we'll get your take here from the Cowboys' point of view. So, first of all, it was looking earlier in the week like Des Bryant might play, but now he hasn't.
I just got doubtful on mine.
Yeah, he's doubtful, and he hasn't practiced the last 2 days, so that dream kind of died down quickly. But the bottom line is he's rehabbing well. He's, at least at the very least, forced the Giants to prepare for him a little bit because they saw that he was out there on the practice field. So his presence could be felt a little bit on Sunday. But bottom line is Matt Castle in at quarterback. We'll talk about that change more. But he's going to need a wide receiver to step up against the Giants secondary that hasn't been very good.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of people, I think, would assume it'd be Cole Beasley. But, I don't think that the Cowboys are going to be dinking and dunking as much as they have the last month. I think they want to get away from that. I think they want to challenge secondaries and push the ball downfield. And so I think a guy that could have a big game is Bryce Butler if he plays. I mean, he had that big moment in the Saints game where they almost came back. He seems to be a deep threat that they can, use to soften the defenses. And so I think he's got a chance to really, catch a big bomb. He's a bit of a burner guy out there. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And obviously that's kind of Terrence Williams' wheelhouse.
Absolutely. Butler had that catch against the Saints and then got injured, of course, because that's the theme of our season. But he should play against the Giants.
Dropping like flies.
Exactly. So, but I agree. You don't make this QB change unless you're going to change the offense and start throwing the ball down the field because it was frustrating for everybody in Cowboys Nation to watch this offense with the dink and dunk, 8 men in the box, so Randall couldn't go anywhere. It was vanilla offense. The Patriots had it figured out within the first 2 seconds of the game and, dominated that game. They only put 6 points on the board. RJ, I know you were at that game, which must have been a, up and down experience there, but you're right. The offense needs to change. That's why they're leaning towards giving Christine Michael more carries, and they made the change for Matt Castle. So, as for putting in Castle, did you think it was the right move? Would you like to see him stick with Whedon? What do you expect from Castle? I know it's not a significant upgrade, but you challenge Whedon a little bit. Like you said, he's still one play away, and Castle does have some injury history, so he still has to be ready, and Castle could still be ineffective. But for now, what do you think of the move?
I think it's necessary. I don't believe that the lack of success, since Tony Romo's been injured, has been totally as a result of Brandon Whedon. I think he's done what they've asked him to do, and so that's where I think the error lies. I think the error has been the disposition of the play calling. I think that we've just assumed that we can run this thing, we can hold on defense, and that just hasn't gotten it done. And I think that the team, to get a little deeper into it, I think they're in need of a psychological type of shift. I think they needed this move to sort of inject this idea of hope and optimism that the season is still, very much alive. And they, I think everybody will respond to that because it has to be frustrating if you're Greg Hardy, if you're Rolando McClain, if you're Sean Lee, and in their most recent game, like you talked about, you go out and you stop Tom Brady and the world champs. And then you come back and, the offensive staff sends out Brandon Whedon and he just goes 3 and out. That would get frustrating. And so I think that this move is going to re-energize the team as a whole, and I think we're going to see it on Sunday.
Yeah, speaking of the Patriots game, RJ, real quick, we all know the Cowboys got absolutely thrashed in that game. It was very painful to watch as a Cowboys fan. But then you go on the bye, you make the move, you're going to play Castle over Whedon. What do you think the bye week did as a kind of like maybe towards an advantage against the Giants? The bye week I thought was very necessary when it came to the Cowboys and the way they were playing. How necessary do you think the bye week was to wake this team up?
I think it was necessary for a lot of reasons. They needed to get healthy, and I think it was a great. That's what the bye week is intention to do. So they got a chance to rest. but I think it was kind of a humbling experience to go into the bye week with at such a low point. Like you said, getting thrashed and feeling like that, and having that feeling fester on you for 2 weeks, it's uncomfortable. And I think that given the bye week and a lot of things went the Cowboys' way last week. The Redskins lost, obviously. The Eagles beat the Giants on Monday Night Football. But even within the conference, the Cardinals lost, the Seahawks lost. I mean, all these things, went their way, and I think that gave, everyone involved, down to fans, this sense of, okay, well, we're right in this. Everyone is letting us hang around, and, we have to take advantage of that. And so I think that was really the best thing that could happen, to have the bye week earlier in the season. I don't typically like it, this early, but I think it's going to really inject some life into them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you have the move of Castle. Like I said, I'm not sold that it's a significant upgrade. It's not a significant upgrade, but it lights a fire under Weed, and hopefully if he has to come back in and it gives, a fresh life to this team, which is what you were just saying and what Sean alluded to. And another change that they made offensively, except they haven't really told us exactly what they're going to do, which has been the storyline with this backfield, is using Christine Michael more, who I definitely want to see more of. I want to at least see him get enough carries. There were some hints that he was going to be the starter. I want to at least see him get enough carries to establish himself. The one thing we know about power backs, which he certainly is, he's a change of pace from Randall and McFadden as a bowling ball type running back. The one thing we see from these backs is they get better as the game goes on. Once that defense starts getting worn down, they can start turning out more yards. So I at least want to see Michael get a chance to do that, get enough carries to begin to feel like he's in the game mentally and physically, and then split those carries to Ferrando, who's more explosive. I think that could be a very good 1-2 running back ditto, should they use it effectively, and they're trying to make that change so that they can do so. So what role do you think Christine Michael will have on Sunday, and how effective do you think it'll be for the Cowboys running game?
Well, I don't know that he'll even lead the team in carries, just because you're right, it is so hard to predict with them and what they're going to do at the position. But I think he's going to be sort of the short yardage guy. They really have lacked that. Going back to the days even of like a Marion Barber type of running back.
You mean we don't have Gus Johnson?
Yeah, exactly. But I think that he's going to be in there, on critical situations, because Randall, they've shown that they don't trust him. He hasn't
6
played,
points.
in second halves. And so I think that when the game's on the line, that's going to be when Michael's in there, just because he seems to have earned their trust, and Randall's kind of squandered his opportunity.
Yeah, and RJ, real quick, we mentioned the offense before on who do you think can have a big game, but let's talk about the defense a little bit. You get Randy Gregory and Greg Hardy, of course, will play in this game as well. Who do you expect on the Dallas side of the defense to impress you the most this week? I'm not really impressed so much with the Giants' O-line. I expect the Dallas to basically not walk the floor over it, but I expect them, to pressure Eli a lot. Who do you expect to come out and impress you on the defense?
I think Greg Hardy's going to continue to impress me. He really showed. Yeah, he really showed against New England why the front office believes in him from a football perspective, and I think he's gonna show that. And he's brought in to be the dominant force, the dominant pass rusher. But I think that Randy Gregory's gonna rekindle what he showed against the Giants in Week 1. I'm really anxious. I hope that we get an opportunity to see both of them on the field together, because, like you're saying, the Giants' offensive line is a bit weaker, and I can't imagine that they would have any success in stopping both of them simultaneously. So that would be something that I would be very excited to see, but I think Greg Hardy's going to steal the show.
That's definitely a matchup we have to talk a lot more about, because I think this is going to be the key thing to watch in this game, and I personally cannot wait to watch Greg Hardy and the entirety of the Cowboys' defensive line. Hopefully, and what they should be able to do is just flat out terrorize Eli Manning against a Giants offensive line that we just saw.
Why not us? Philly did it. Why can't we?
Exactly. In prime time, get beat up by the Eagles' front four, which is a very good front four. And, they blitz a lot of linebackers, so it's a 6-7 man rush for the most part. But the Giants' offensive line was beat up. Eric Flowers, personally, starting to think, at least lean towards the fact that he's a bust. I know everything out of college was that his technique isn't good and he can win with physicality, but
straight out of college.
But with the right coaches, he could fix his technique. And, well, I'm sure they're working on that, and I don't know who the Giants, have working with him on that. But it hasn't shown yet, and it's still early. It hasn't shown yet. There's some shots up of him on Twitter where he just was completely bent over against the edge rushers for the Eagles. So he hasn't looked good. He's going to have to go up against Randy Gregory, who he saw week 1, and Gregory, in the short time that we saw him, was running circles around him. So I absolutely think that we're going to see a healthy Cowboys defensive line, a fully healthy Cowboys defensive line for the first time this season, and it should be able to wreak havoc against this Giants offensive line. You're going to have Gregory around the edge, Hardy in the middle on rushing downs, around the edge, I'm assuming on passing downs, the two Crawfords and Tyrone and Jack, Nick Hayden a little bit, and then DeMarcus Lawrence, hopefully now with all these other guys thriving, can finally make an impact finding one-on-one matchups, which is something Rod Marinelli preaches, that you have to be able to win your one-on-one matchups. So I'm definitely really excited for this Cowboys defensive line to get after Eli Manning, and I'm assuming you feel the same way, RJ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do think that the Philadelphia defensive line is a bit for real. I know that the rest of their team has been, disappointing, but their defensive line is no joke. But I do think that the Cowboys, when it's fully healthy, as that unit of the team seems to be, I think it's better. And I think that they're really, really, really going to get after Eli. It seems, that they're all particularly motivated for this game. They know that the Giants and the Eagles have left the door open. They know there's blood in the water, and they're going to go in for the kill. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun for Cowboy fans to watch. Absolutely.
And one thing for the Giants offense that Ben McAdoo has preached was getting the ball at Eli's hands quicker. They use two-step drops now. He's changed his footing back there in the shotgun to get the ball out quicker. So they're getting the ball at Eli's hands. It's a team that thrives on completions no matter how many short yards they can get. They love to complete the football. But the improved pass rush from the Cowboys we've seen all season has really helped out the secondary. Morris Claiborne, out of nowhere, has been our best defensive back because he's great in man coverage, and he's only had to cover for a short period of time with the pressure the front is getting in man coverage, and he has very fast footwork as well. So he's done a good job there. Brandon Carr has been good and did good against Odell Beckham in week 1. Hopefully we won't see a repeat of what we saw when those two got together last year at MetLife Stadium, which obviously we know Carr doesn't want to talk about. But I think the Cowboys secondary has benefited from this. They don't have to face Victor Cruz. So overall, I think you have advantages all across the board for this Cowboys defense to limit the Giants' opportunities and give Matt Castle a fighting chance.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of just surreal that a Matt Castle-led Cowboys team is almost, like you're saying, favored against the Giants. I don't know the actual line for the game, but
I think the most recent one was 3.5 for the Giants. It was 5.5 on Tuesday, which is absurd.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of crazy. Just flipping the script, if it was a Ryan Nassib or whoever led Giant team coming to Dallas, and and we were fully healthy and we were only 3.5 points favored, I mean that'd be crazy. It's a testament to the depth of the team and the ability to react to different things, whether they're injuries or whatever, to be able to put guys in there that can succeed. And I think you're right. I think that a guy like Morris Claiborne has had a resurgence this season, and I think he's going to do a great job on Odell this year. On Sunday. He did a great job in Week 1, and I'm excited to see that particular matchup, given the pass rush that'll be getting in Eli's face.
Absolutely. We know the Cowboys were undefeated in the division last year, and that was absolutely huge on their way to winning the NFC East. A win here would get them halfway there at 3-0, so 3-0 in division. So, a huge game for them. If you get that 3-0 cushion, you feel good about your chances to continue to tread water until Tony Romo comes back and then make that push from there. So definitely a game with a lot of implications, always implications when these teams get together. A huge rivalry. It seems like you have new faces of it every single year, and now another new face that you mentioned, it's going to be Matt Castle leading the way. So let's get into some predictions for tonight. Sean, let's start with you. For Sunday, Cowboys at the Giants. Who do you see really stepping up on both sides for both teams, and what's your final score prediction?
Well, for the Giants, obviously, I think Eli Manning has to step up after the game he had against Philadelphia. You get the one touchdown to Beckham, and then after that, they made him look like garbage. Plain and simple. The turnovers were a problem. The penalties killed them. And it was just really a sloppy gameplay by the Giants. I expect Eli to step up. I expect the O-line to try to step up. I expect the defense to come in ready to play. They're at MetLife. They're in front of their fans, so I'm not expecting a big game. I'm not expecting a blowout, but I am going to go with the Cowboys in this game. I like Matt Castle. This is his first game with the Cowboys. I think the move, agreed, was necessary to play Castle over Whedon. And I think you got to look at guys to step up. Obviously, the running game has to step up, but I'm also looking at guys like Terrence Williams and Cole Beasley to really come out of their shell and do well against the Giants secondary. I'm really expecting them to do that, and I'm expecting Matt Castle to come out in his first game and put up some big numbers. I'm not going to say it's going to be a huge win for the Cowboys. And then, of course, you've got Greg Hardy and you've got Randy Gregory coming back as well in this game. We wanted Dez Bryant, but I don't think you're going to need him for this win. I'm going to go 24-21 Dallas.
I like it. Before I get to my predictions, I got to read this message, RJ, that we got from Bryson in our Slack channel. You know you're a tech brat when you're writing with pen on paper, wondering why that misspelled word wasn't corrected automatically. ... shaking my head. I found that hilarious. So just say that one here. Bryson, of course, the founder of InsideTheStar.com, where you can find a lot of great work from RJ and myself as well. So be sure to check that out for more on this game. As for my thoughts for who needs to step up on both sides of the ball in my prediction, obviously I'm going with the Cowboys as well. What was your score, 24-21, Sean?
Yep.
That's a good score. I'll go 28-17 Dallas. I think I'm excited to see Christine Michael. I think the Cowboys are going to get back to their 2014 ways of dominating time of possession.
I mean, that'd be nice.
Of course would be nice. Dominate time of possession. I think they're going to commit to using Christine Michael, hopefully. That's the main thing I'm watching for and crossing my fingers for. I think Matt Castle will be all right. No Prince Amukamara for the Giants, so hopefully Terrence Williams, Bryce Butler, who RJ mentioned, can get something going. And I think the offense will do enough to win, putting up 28 points. And the defense, of course, will be getting after Eli. I think they're definitely going to make an emphasis, the Giants offensively, to get the ball out of his hands, at least early in the game, to give your offensive line some confidence to not have to block for a long period of time. And then we'll see those deeper dropbacks. So my key for the Cowboys defense, play well in the secondary, tackle after the catch. Morris Claiborne, Brandon Carr, Sean Lee, Rolando McClain wrap up on the tackles, which they all do phenomenally well. And I think the Cowboys will make enough plays to get it done on the road. Like I said, 28-17.
I like it. I think that the Cowboys are going to come out, and I think it's going to be a slow start, and I think Cowboy fans are going to get a little anxious because Castle and Co. aren't necessarily driving downfield right away. But I do think they're going to come out with a win. I think it's going to be a weird kind of game, kind of a slower-paced NFC East type game. I think there's a safety because I think that the pass rush that the Cowboys have is just going to overwhelm the Giants. So I'm going to say 22-10 in favor of the Cowboys, and we'll be because it's a 3:00 game here on Central Time. We'll be getting ready for Sunday Night Football and hearing Tony Dungy and everybody talking about how the Cowboys got themselves back in the NFC East race right before the Panthers take care of the Eagles.
Absolutely. So, RJ, thanks so much for joining us. You want to check out all of his great work at InsideTheStar.com. You're also on FanCred as well. I know you're trying to get that going, up-and-coming sports social media network. So, and at RJ Ochoa on Twitter, and we're also at Cowboys Nation. So come find us. We're pretty easy to find. InsideTheStar.com. RJ, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, RJ.
Go Cowboys. So that was, once again, InsideTheStar.com staff writer RJ Ochoa. We're going to take a quick break, take some more calls at 973-655-4256, and go through the rest of our NFL matchups.